Miracle 24. 36-hour healing. I walked out of a luncheon appointment at a restaurant in a Los Angeles suburb on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2010, and noted that I had about half an hour before a second appointment in the same area. Thinking I might make some calls or have a short nap, I got into my car. When I tried to close the door, my left arm would not work. I could barely control it between the shoulder and the wrist. It was spastic at best. Not good signs. No pain, no fainting, no eyesight impairment, just no consistent control of the arm. I opened the door and flagged two men walking through the parking lot with the question, "Where's the nearest hospital emergency room?" They said, 4 blocks down the street, and I headed there, steering the car with my right arm. 20 minutes from my first symptoms, I was under the care of a Ghana-born physician and born-again Christian whose reputation, I later discovered, was as the best doctor serving that hospital. Many tests, tubes, scans, and examinations later by 4 different physicians found no indication of any causes for the symptoms. A Middle Eastern neurologist hypothesized that it must be some kind of TIA, transient ischemic attack, or mini-stroke, one too small to show up on the CAT scan. He asked me to perform a simple test for motor control, extending arms and index fingers, and then touching the tips of the fingers in front of my face. I could not control my left arm sufficiently to get my left index fingertip within 6 inches of my right one. It occurred to me that this condition might be one I'd have to live with the rest of my life. Now, out of ER and in a hospital room, I had both peace and joy. I was joking with the staff, letting them all know that I was in God's hands and fully at peace, knowing that He had all of this in His all-wise plan. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I awakened and wondered if there was any change in my symptoms. I tried the finger touch exercise and failed it like I had the previous day. Then it struck me. I may never be able to type again. Yikes! With all the writing, communication, emails, etc. in my life, I virtually live at a keyboard. I cried out, "Lord, please enable me to type again. I won't be able to serve you as effectively as I want to unless you do." Then a spirit of boldness came over me, and I began to pray with authority. Wait a minute. I don't have to put up with this. I'm a child of the King. Royal blood flows in my veins. Whatever is causing this, I order out of my life in the name and on the power of the shed blood of Jesus. Disease, out. Weakness, out. Evil spirits, out. I rolled over, went to sleep, and awakened again at 5 a.m. I wondered if there had been any change, so I extended my arms and index fingers beyond the boundaries of the bed and touched my fingers together in front of me perfectly, like I had been able to do all the other years of my life. I began praising God for my healing and testing my new arm, like the lame man Jesus healed, who immediately ran and danced when he received strength in his legs. I was whole. The rest of my waking moments through the morning hours and through the noontime interactions with hospital staff were filled with demonstrations of my renewed abilities at arm movement and praises to the Lord. The Middle Eastern neurologist walked into the room at about 1:30 or 2 p.m. "How are you doing?" he asked. "I'm well." "What do you mean you're well?" "God healed me." With a look of professional skepticism, he said, "Extend your arms and put your index fingers together." When I performed this motion to perfection, his mouth dropped open. "You are well. I'm going to the nurse's station and order your dismissal." He departed to do so and returned to say, "I don't understand this." "I understand it perfectly. I prayed and asked God to heal me, and He did." Convinced of my cure, he said, "If you take an aspirin every day of your life and manage your blood pressure, I can't imagine you'll ever have another problem. All your tests look good." He suggested that I have an MRI of my brain, which later did show a tiny blood vessel with an infarction, indication of some impairment and scar tissue like it had been healed. Since that day, I have had absolutely no residual symptoms. I'm typing this with all the speed and accuracy I had the day before the initial episode. I know who deserves the credit. Like the sign in the old doctor's office, God heals, the doctor collects the fee.